Hey, welcome back to quiltingcowboy.com. I am very excited. I finally finished this Stetson Cross, the red version. I had finished it a while back, but I hadn't actually finished quilting it. So I got that done just in time to go up and teach it in Utah. I leave Thursday, and then we'll be up there teaching through Saturday. So if you're around, I would love to see you in Lehigh, and I'll post more information about that on Facebook. So this is it. I am really excited to head up there and start teaching. We're going to be doing this. We're also going to be doing the deer head cabin quilt. So that should be a lot of fun. Anyhow, I wanted to do a video on a few things that have come up recently. And as you know, there was that one unfortunate episode with that lady leaving that nasty comment on her way out the door. But I just wanted to speak more broadly about the quilt culture in general, and only because, like, that really kind of took the wind out of my sails. I'll be honest. It doesn't take much. I know all of us are very sensitive individuals, and that was, that was unfortunate because not everybody sees the behind the scenes. I don't do this for a living. Nobody pays me to do this, right? Like, I do this because I love it, and it makes me happy, and it's my little, happy place in the world. But again, it's not my full-time job. I do this on the side for fun. I'm in one of our bedrooms in our house. I don't have a big studio. I don't have a budget. I don't have, anything along those lines. And while I love doing it and would love to make it my full-time job, I'm just a guy with a sewing machine in his second bedroom. And I know many people don't know my background or who I am or where I came from, maybe a little bit. And, I was a performer for a long time. From the time I was 18 till the time I was 35, I performed professionally. I was in a Broadway show. I was in 7 different ballet companies, and I was a backup dancer for Celine Dion for many years. So, I've accomplished a lot of things in my life, and I'm used to people kind of treating me a certain way. So to walk into the quilt world and have people just left and right speak negatively about me is a bit shocking to me. I'll be honest. I'm not quite used to being treated so poorly by just the general public, people who don't know me. It's to the point where the fabric company that I'm working with to produce my fabric line, Wyndham Fabrics, has been getting calls from the quilt world complaining about me because they don't think that they should be partnering with me. How is that okay? And who is doing this, right? So, as a guy in his second bedroom who just wants to bring a little more love into the world and wants to share, some fun times, I find this really off-putting and shocking. So I don't know, who feels compelled to complain about me in that manner, but, I did want to give you a little bit of my background and just to reassure you that I don't pretend to, like, I know that much about it because I am mostly self-taught. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I can only share with you what's worked for me and the way that I've gone about figuring out how to do all of this on my own. And again, trust me, I am the first to admit that I'm probably not doing it right, that I'm probably not, doing a lot of the technical things correctly. But again, that's okay. And if you want to come along with me on this journey and, share some things and some ideas and have some fun, then great. But if you don't want to or you don't like me, that's okay too. Just, you can leave. There's lots of other options. There's plenty of even other guys out there that you can learn from and, watch online who are probably a better fit for you than me. I'll never be, that very tight and polished kind of individual. That's just not me. And I don't try and be that. I'm only trying to be another option in the world. Please understand that I am very clear on my talent set, what I have to bring to this, and the fact that I just want to make people laugh, right? And I want to have a good time, and I want to share some love, and I just want to hang out with you all. Like that's my only motivation. It's not money, right? It's not anything beyond that. Although I do hope to someday make this into a career. You know, other than the few patterns I sell online, that's it. That's the only money I'm making at this point. And it does take a lot of time and effort, even just to produce these videos. Like I can maybe get one a week, but again, between all of my design deadlines that I'm now coming up on, as well as my full-time career as a real estate agent in Palm Springs, like, and having a family and having a life, like there's only so much time in the day that I can do this. So if you're critical of anything that I'm doing, you know, again, that's fine. And I bless you and I wish you all the best. And if I'm not a match for you, cool. You know, just feel free to find someone else, right? But if you're, you know, into where this crazy bus is headed, then let's do it, right? You know, because I'm not going to be uptight. I'm not going to have, you know, the polished set. You know, I'm like super gay in my second bedroom doing the best I can. And if that's not, you know, what you want to do or what you find acceptable, again, that's fine. Like, I'll twirl my baton in my backyard by myself if I want to. I don't need to be doing this. So I don't understand where a lot of this like really like harsh criticism is coming from, to the point where people are calling Wyndham Fabrics, saying that they shouldn't be producing my fabrics because they don't agree with who I am as a human being. Is that the culture of the quilt world that we're okay with? Right? Because I want to speak especially to the leaders and the matriarchs of our world, right? So anybody over 65, this is especially for you. You have, I feel like, an opportunity and almost an obligation to be, you know, the leaders of our world. So where you see this popping up, I feel like there's a special weight on you as, you know, our elders of our world to make sure that you are watching the community vibe, right? Because we need to stop judging things by what is good and bad, right? Because that is a judgment call. Everybody's version of what is good and bad or right and wrong is going to be different. Even everybody's version of truth, because truth is just another word for perspective, right, is going to be different. One person's truth may not be somebody else's, and that's okay. So if we could move more towards, rather something is right or wrong, is something of love or not? That's much easier to decipher. And it's a more global truth. It's something that's much more clear, I believe, to all of us, whether somebody is speaking from a place of love or not. And when they're not, again, the elders of our community, I ask you to find that, root it out, to call it out. We have an obligation here to make this world better, but more specifically, the quilting world, okay? Because that's where we are, that's what we live, and that's what is in our hearts, and that's what we're about. So, I ask you, where you see negativity and this type of judgment placed upon our other members of our community, like, this can't be okay, you know, because like this is like the biggest opportunity that I've had in doing all of this in over 20 years. This is the biggest opportunity I have to create this fabric line. It's what's on my heart. It's what I want to bring into the world. And so to have complete strangers who I don't know call Wyndham Fabrics and say that they don't approve of me and they've never met me, that's tough. You know, especially when I'm doing the best that I can and nobody's paying me to do this. So I really would appreciate your not only support, but moreover, calling out where you see this root, this vein of negativity and judgment on our other members. It's not acceptable, it's not okay, and we all know it exists. Because we've all, I think, experienced it, right? And I think we could be doing better than that, because what we're doing is creating art. We're not doing brain surgery. We're creating art. And art is subjective, and art is explorative, and art is something that comes from our spirit that we bring into the world. And that's what I think that we're all hoping to do. So why do I do this? Why do I do this if it consumes so much of my life and nobody's paying me to do it, and I'm getting, well, of course, a lot of, great comments, but I'm also receiving a lot of negativity, right? Why I do this is because it's what's written on my soul. I'm not just doing quilts here, I'm doing my life's work. And maybe that resonates with you. Maybe you can understand that it's beyond just making quilts. This is my life's work. And when I'm gone, I want this to represent and to show to the world what was written on my heart. That I had the capacity to bring design and love and community into this world. And I'm not joking around about this. This is very, very, very serious to me. So when strangers want to get in the way of me doing that, that's a real problem for me. Okay? So again, I don't know who is doing all of this behind the scenes and trying to undermine some of my efforts. And again, we can't focus on that. We got to just let that go because all of us have experienced that. But it is a little bit trying, right? And it does weigh on my soul. It does, slow me down a little bit when it takes away my energy. Right? And I'm feeling beaten down and negative and, all these things because I get these negative comments. We need to be better than that. So for me, I was diagnosed with a fairly potentially crippling movement disorder. And I've talked about it a little bit a while ago. And so, I don't know how much time I have left to do this. I don't know if it's going to get worse. I don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know if I'm going to lose the use of my hands. Okay? So I feel very motivated to do this while I can, and I'm not going to let anybody stand in my way. Again, if I'm not for you, that's cool. It's okay to go and find a teacher that you resonate with. But what's not okay is for people to be vicious and to make judgments. And I'm not here for that. But if you want to, like I say, come along on this journey with me, I really just want to make people laugh. And I want to, have fun and do this while I can. And that's it. That's my only motivation. So, I appreciate everybody's love, kindness, support, comments, encouragements, but there's this undercurrent that I hope that all of us can be very mindful of as we go through guilds, as we go through, life on social media and other places where we see that, we call it out. It's like racism. It needs to be called out to its face. So, like that lady who left me that nasty message, anytime that somebody does that in my world, I'm gonna post it publicly like I did with that other comment. So for you ladies, there tends to be a lot of negativity. A lot of you ladies, I don't know what in your generation made it okay to be that nasty with your comments, but it's always from the older ladies that I get it. Nobody else, right? Oh, that's not true. One time I got a comment from a guy that was pretty nasty, but in large part, it's mostly the older women. And again, that needs to end, all right? Because if it's brought into my world, like I said, I'll call it out publicly and I will do my best to shame you. Because that's what you're doing. You're doing something shameful. And our world, our quilt world, needs to be better than that. We need to be a place of love and encouragement and allowing everybody, no matter where they come from, to participate in our art, right? So that's all I wanted to say is just, I know that there's a lot of love in our world, but again, we have to call out this negativity and this judgment where we find it. So thank you all very much. I'm doing my best to keep up with posting things while I'm also going through some, a lot of timelines and things that I'm coming up against for Quilt Market, which some of which I cannot post yet, but once I can, it's gonna be awesome. So anyways, I really appreciate, as always, your support. It really, it means the world to me, because I thought a guy like me, right, with tattoos and just crazy and shirtless and, with, a modeling past and, performing past, like I know I'm a big personality, and I wasn't sure that there was going to be a place in the world for me, and that's another reason why I do it, is because I want to show, and again, like Ricky Timms, just him existing as I was kind of coming into this world meant everything to me, because it meant I wasn't alone, and that I could do this, and that there were other guys who were doing this successfully and, making a real impact in the quilting world. That's all I want to do. That's all, right? So I thank you again so much. Like, this means everything to me. And I appreciate your love, your support. I read all of your comments. I can't always, respond, but I want you to know that I read every one of them, and I appreciate your support. My family, really, this means a lot to us, that I should have the opportunity to try and do this while I still can. And again, I don't talk a lot about that because I don't want to give it force and focus, because what you focus on expands, and I don't want my movement disorder and other things that are going on with me physically to take front and center stage. So I thank you for listening, and I appreciate your support.